Ready.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting of the Human Services Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Chair Swarzy,
Here.
Member Cahill, Member Garcia,
Here.
Member Desart,
Here.
Member Galassi.
Here.
Member LaPlante.
Here.
Okay, we have a forum. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, I do have a couple of comments to make. I am inviting this committee on behalf of Mike Kabbalah from the president and CEO of Loaves and Fishes. He asks, sends an email to all members of the Human Services Committee, invites us to tour the hub facility and do some volunteering while we're there. I believe there are a number of Human Services Committee members who have not had a chance to come see our facility, and this would give them the opportunity to see it in person and discuss our expansion plans. So we're looking at a date of May 14th around 1 o'clock to do this. So I will have, Karen, if it's okay, I'll have you send out an email on this to the committee.
I will.
And we'll RSVP through that email. So hope to see you all there. That'd be great. And I wanted to discuss real briefly, our small human services grant portal has closed. We have approximately 75 or so applications that are being reviewed, and I'm going to ask Mary Catherine just to sort of discuss the timeline from this point on.
Sure. We are in the process of reviewing the applications with our team. We're going to finish that this week. Then they're going to go to Connor, the State's Attorney's Office. Then on the 28th, we're going to review them. We have sort of an executive team that's reviewed them in years past. Nick, meeting some different folks, Connor. And then after that, that'll be the follow-up meeting at Human Services. We'll present all of the ones that we think are eligible to you guys, or all the ones we've determined are eligible. And then you guys will have a couple weeks to look at them and then choose who you want to select. From there, it's going to go, it'll go to start to Human Services, then it's going to go to Finance and Board, and we should have it done May, June. So right now we're on schedule. Everything looks good.
I will say, and I'll allow you guys to ask some questions here shortly, but I will say that as was mentioned at our last meeting, if organizations did not get all their information in a timely fashion, we had to exclude them from participating. I know the staff did a great job reaching out to them over that course of that open portal saying, hey, we still need this, we still need this. The biggest problem is some organizations wait until the day of to turn their stuff in, and they're missing all kinds of stuff. And I will commend the finance group here. They did a great job trying to get that stuff, and sadly, in some cases, we just couldn't get it all. So thank you for all your hard work on that. So do we have any? Yes, thank you.
I agree. I told everyone I encouraged to apply for the grants. I explained the sooner the better, because if there is a snag, then you have time to revamp. Is there any verbiage that's included in the application that lays that out?
I
I
don't know.
know we said that in the webinar, we were very clear about it. We did send out, just as a, just FYI, I guess, we did, for people that didn't have things on the very last day, most of them got an email from us that said, today is the deadline.
Right.
So, so even if I mean, it does say on the website, it does say deadline. So
Right.
I think it's kind of clear, but even if it was clear to any folks that didn't have things out done, then they did get an additional notice at the very end. So,
I heard from some that said, shoot, I saw it in my spam folder
yeah.
after it was too late. So my only suggestion is going forward for next year to actually just put in one paragraph, like, this is why it's beneficial to get it in as soon as possible.
Yeah, we will do that. There's a couple different things as Keith and I were going through things yesterday. Every year we improve it a little bit. We're like, hey, I don't want to see the mission statements with the project descriptions. So
Yeah.
we have a couple things like that we're going to revise for next year, and we will make that more explicit.
Okay.
We'll put in a couple sentences that are like no exceptions.
Right.
To make
right.
it clear.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Member Plant. Good, very good point. And I will say, I was on the webinar and there was, gosh, 100 or so agencies. Now, I don't know if everyone that applied was on that webinar, but I do know in that webinar, it was made loud and clear.
Mhm.
So, thank you.
And maybe just to add that footnote, and this is just learning from experience, no one's fault.
Right.
But I also had that client that had an issue with it going to spam. I mean, they also applied the day before it was due, but, so, I mean, I think maybe just even putting a note, like any feedback, please check your spam notifications, that might be helpful, just because.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, any other comments? Thank you guys very much for, it's a hard job that they do and they try to learn from last time and make it a little more easy for them to follow up. And, so thank you for your support.
And it's not any of your responsibilities. This is just, as we know, these small organizations don't have a ton of experience or staff. That's all.
But we try to keep that in mind as we're working through it with them too. Like I was saying, Keith and I, we were like, hey, the forms, next year we'll put a copy of what the actual form looks like, so that if anybody's confusing the federal form and the state forms, they can see what it is. So, yeah, the next year, if we do this for 20 years, it'll.
Thank you very much. Do our members have any other comments at this point? Okay, seeing none, we'll take a motion to approve item 25-1055, our Human Services regular meeting minutes for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion to approve HSR 925, authorization to apply for program year 2026, Title III-E Caregiver Resource Center Services Grant Funds from Age Guide Northeastern Illinois.
Second.
Any discussion here? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Take a motion on HSR 1025, authorization to apply for FFY 2024 and FFY 2025, Section 5310 grant funds from the Regional Transportation Authority.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
This is minor, but you might want to take a look at the resolution again because there are a couple of typos on it.
Thank you. Okay. Anything that needs to be changed for approving this?
No.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion on FIR 6525, recommendation for approval of modification 1 to home agreement HM 21-02A between Catholic Charities, Diocese of Joliet, Inc., and the County of DuPage, increasing the amount of home funding by $110,339 for a total home amount of $410,339. Do we get a second? Okay, sorry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on FIR 6625, additional appropriation for the DuPage Care Center Foundation funded projects fund in the amount of $21,112. Any discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on FMP 1525, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Groot Industries, Inc. to provide refuse disposal, recycling, and asbestos pickup services for DuPage County facilities for facilities management for the period June 1st, 2025 through May 31st, 2026 for a contract total amount not to exceed $126,843.06, in which $40,800 is for the care center.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on FMR 125, amendment to resolution FMP 1525, issued to Groot Industries, Inc. for refuse disposal, recycle, and asbestos pickup services for facilities management, expanding the scope of services to include an additional location for the health department and increasing the total contract price by 2%.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on HSR 1125, resolution to rescind HSP 1225, issued to Alco Sales and Service Company to provide elite X-long term beds for the DuPage Care Center. Contract total amount of $109,192.16.
Second.
Any discussion here? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on HSP 1625, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Central DuPage Hospital Association doing business as Health Lab for patient phlebotomy and laboratory services for the DuPage Care Center for the period April 23rd, 2025 through April 22nd, 2026, for a total contract amount not to exceed $40,000.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on HSB 1825, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to McKesson Medical Surgical Government Solutions LLC to furnish and deliver incontinent products for the DuPage Care Center for the period June 30th, 2025 through June 29th, 2027, for a contract total amount not to exceed $200,000.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion on HSP 1925, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Professional Medical and Surgical Supplying to furnish and deliver ostomy, tracheostomy, urological, and enteral supplies and services and enteral feeding formulas for the DuPage Care Center for the period July 30th, 2025 through July 29th, 2026, for a total contract not to exceed $50,000.
Second.
Any discussion here? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion on HSP 2025, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Alco Sales and Services Co. for replacement of Elite X long-term beds for the DuPage Care Center for the period April 23rd, 2025 through April 22nd, 2026, for a contract amount not to exceed $110,880.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. I will take a motion on 25-1056, transfer of funds from the overtime account and the contingencies account to the employee medical and hospital insurance account in the amount of $8,600 to cover the deficits in the budget line that were unanticipated when the fiscal year 25 budget was prepared.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion on 25-1057, a transfer of funds from the regular salaries account to the overtime account in the amount of $4,000 to cover employee overtime to assist the information and referral unit manage the client caseload while being short-staffed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. On to travel, I'll take a motion on 25-1058, Community Services Administrator to attend the National Alliance to End Homelessness Conference in Washington, D.C. from June 29th, 2025 through July 3rd, 2025. Expenses to include registration, transportation, lodging, and per diems for approximate total of $3,424.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion to approve 25-1059, Community Services Housing and Community Development Planner to attend the National Alliance to End Homelessness Conference in Washington, D.C. from June 29, 2025 through July 2nd, 2025. Expenses to include registration, transportation, lodging, and per diems for approximate total of $2,866.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Both of these travel expenses were grant funded, by the way. Take a motion on consent item 25-1060, 360 Youth Services. This purchase order is decreasing in the amount of $18,964.77 and closing due to purchase order expiring.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion on informational item 25-1061, GPN 00725 LIHEAP, Health and Human Services Grant for Program Year 26, the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $3,657,594.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great, that's good news. Thank you. I'll take a motion on 25-1062, the LIHEAP State Supplemental Grant for Program Year 26 in the amount of $3,422,595.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion on 25-1063, weatherization, Department of Education, Department of DOE. Energy, thank you. Department of Energy Grant, for Program Year 26 in the amount of $638,116.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Take a motion for the weatherization grant for program year 26 in the amount of $974,465.
So moved.
Second.
Keep that, Karen.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'll take a motion on 25-1065, the weatherization state grant for program year 26 from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the amount of $568,959.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you very much, everybody. We do not have any residency waivers, so we'll go on to the DuPage Care Center update with Janelle Chadwick, who will also have a presentation for us, so.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to talk about an update of our current construction project and then our east building design. So we'll get right into it. If you recall, we did in November of 22, that it was the original approval, but the contract, we did an amendment and reduced it to November 26, 2024, down to 30, just about 31 million. Go to the updates. So the resident area renovations, so 3 North is all done. We just moved all the residents within the last 10 days. That was really exciting. This staff, sometimes the staff are a little, trying to get their bearings on things, but this staff was so appreciative. I received thank yous and it was just really nice to have that feedback. You make all these decisions, design decisions and color decisions, and somebody has to make them, but not everybody, it always appeal to everyone. But, pardon? Yeah.
Part about building up.
Yes, it's very, very similar, but it was just a really nice experience. Everyone has been wonderful. 3 Center, I'm so excited about this unit. We'll show some pictures. This will be the dementia unit. That's licensed as special care unit designation through the state. And that was approved by the architect. We're waiting for the clinical nurse surveyor to come. Our dementia residents, we have 16 beds. We are down to 6 residents. We reduced that over time. We moved people that were no longer appropriate, and we did not admit because we have them on one hallway right now. And we've left empty rooms for the walking and common areas and gathering spaces. So I am very excited to move into this unit. And yeah, it is. It's really special. So common area renovations that are done. We did the lighting and finish upgrades. We did 3 South, which is the nursing and finance area, ground south, ground east. And then the wayfinding, if you've seen our signs, it's so nice because people don't know we're there. They think we're an office building. It's been very challenging since my time here. And so I think the signage has made a big impact already. So again, we'll look at, this is 3 North. We all miss the lovely fluorescent orange. And you can see that looks very familiar to 4 North. It's the same model, same floor plan. Next slide. So this will be a resident room. Again, one of the things I want to point out is we have all new windows on these floors and they have blinds within the window panes. So they're less likely to get beat, broken, and you can still close them and angle them for sound and visibility. So, and then that's the whole new cabinetry model like you saw on 4. But this is set for inspection. So that's why the bed's not all made up. We had to have beds in place and we learn every time they come what more to have prepared. So here's the dementia unit. You can see the area, the picture on the left, the area on the right was actually an external patio, or I'm not even sure, Tim, if you recall, but it was an external structure, right?
Right, yeah.
So those were windows, those were exterior windows at one point. And so when we felt like we wanted to, it just didn't look right. It was, you think someone's going to reach through there and potentially fall. It's a visual issue for our dementia population. So the design we did very differently, and still the staff were very important piece was to keep that separate space. So some people that are maybe having behaviors, you can take them over here and do some special programming with them. So they really wanted to make sure that space stayed separate. So this is the nurses station. I'm surprised that it was allowed all these years because you have to have ability to see areas, especially on a dementia unit. So we took down that blue wall on the left side, and behind that wall, the brick was from.
Actually, original brick from the building, yeah.
Yeah, so very old brick, and we could not remove it entirely, but it was really neat to see the angle of the window. There was actually a window behind there. So now we have a beautiful nurses station. The break area is behind. That's what we've done with all of the floors, is put the break area right behind the nurses station. So staff and residents aren't, or excuse me, families and residents aren't going to the break room. You know, they're behind there, but they're also more accessible if needed. So next. This is one of the rooms on the dementia unit. So we will have locking, things that are different. We have locking cabinets where nurses can keep things to care for that individual under lock and key. We have to lock up anything that says keep out of reach of children. So you can imagine the challenge with all those products. The mirror is not in place yet, but the mirror is a special mirror. So if it were to break, it will go like a car window versus shards of glass. So we did a lot of different things on this unit. This will be the finance, nursing administration. So in these areas, we just did the corridors. We did not do all the office spaces. And a lot of the doors we were able to paint instead of do the Acrovin. The Acrovin is very expensive. Acrovin doors are very expensive. So we were able to match a door color paint, and that's worked very well for us. And this is the main corridor down by the gift shop. So you can see that area as well. And this is going down to the conference rooms. The conference rooms used to be used a lot in the community. And also I know IDPH used to hold their quarterly meetings there. So one of the areas that we're going to be redoing are the conference rooms. I'm really excited because they're going to start back up with IDPH and facility mutual education. And I think our facility centrally located will be a great place to hold that. So I'm hoping we'll be able to do that. Here's an example of some signage. Next slide. And then, of course, what was and what is. What a difference, huh?
Yeah.
Huge.
Yep,
Looks great.
yep,
My pianist couldn't find it when she was meeting me there to play.
yeah,
Because
yep,
there was no signage.
right.
She was like circling and circling.
Yeah. So this is an aerial view. So you can see phase one, that's the north building. So we're working now today. They're doing mitigation on 2 north. And then 2 center and 2 south will be done as part of phase one now. What we're going to talk about next is phase 2, which is the east building. This is the newer portion of our campus. It's also where we hold our Medicare population. So this is pretty important. When we were delayed initially with some of our paperwork, we had to start doing 2 units at a time to kind of catch up. And right now we're actually 3 units down. We don't have 3 center and we don't have 2 north. We don't have 2 south. So we have many units that are down until they get in and clear that 3 center, which I expect anytime. I think I've jumped around here, Tim. I think it's your turn to speak.
No, perfect. No, wonderful.
Any questions for me so far? No? Okay.
She's gonna take my questions too. so.
Yeah.
So moving ahead, phase 2 is the east building. And I want to jump ahead a little bit. Nick's gonna go through the funding. The funding we're gonna propose for this is the fund balance within the care center. This may not be a general fund activity, but just so you know, everybody says, where's the dollars from? So moving ahead, we went on the street to select a design firm and a construction management firm. We conducted interviews. Staff is recommending White and Company to do this work. We're here to talk to you about it today. If there's a consensus of the group, we'd like to go to county board with this contract in May. What do we want to contract? What we want to contract is about 75% of the architectural design. The reason we're doing 75% is that is needed to come up with very firm construction dollars. We have a construction estimate. We're comfortable coming very close to that number. But with the construction management contract, they are guaranteeing they're going to come in for that rate. Then from there, if the board approves this work in May, we're going to come back to you in August for the remaining 25% and then for all the construction activities. The current construction that Janelle went through, that's going to end in June. The goal is to have a seamless transition that when the current contract with the ARPA funding, et cetera, ends, we would then move right into the east building. And then that would take about a year. So next slide. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but these are all the activities, all the functions in East Building that we want to try and tackle. The construction of this would be about $17 million, 16.9. Again, we're going to crank that down to the exact penny over the next 90 days, if that's the will of ultimately the board. And then an important point I want to go through is on the next slide. With funding, with what's going on, with potential construction costs, et cetera, the way we're seeing this up is that really this construction, their spending would actually start in February of 26. So if anything were to happen between now and then, the funding isn't committed. We can still pull that money back, so we're not going ahead. So there's still adequate time. You know, we're not sure, for example, where CPI is gonna go. There's other pieces like that. So I think that gives staff a lot of comfort in those pieces of how we move ahead and comfort for you as well. So it is, it's a challenge with some construction costs, but we have those pieces working. I think that I work out very, very well. And then from there, we have one more slide that I'm gonna hand over to Nick.
Thank you. So it's obviously a big second part of the project, and we've spent a lot of time, Janelle, Tim, myself, all the staff. And we have learned a lot on this first phase, and what we learned is if we're going to do this other building, which we firmly believe for the impact of the residents, that we should, because we have the teams together, we have the knowledge, we know how the permitting agencies, we've learned so much that you will never get it cheaper or more efficient than if we roll right into this other building. And the type of input we've received from the residents, from the families, has been overwhelming for what we've done. And so we've looked at, okay, how do we move forward with the east building? Tim mentioned 75% of the design we're gonna do right away as we move that contract forward. If committee, and we're gonna do the same presentation next week at finance, correct? Move it forward with the design contract. We will then, our architect will design it enough to know an exact price. And then once we get that, we'll move the final 25% and that price in August. And as Tim mentioned, is gonna be funded entirely out of the Care Center reserve, 17 million, a lot of money. And so the questions that we had, first and foremost is, well, how much is in the Care Center reserves? $31 million in the Care Center reserves right now. But I mean, if this was normal, I'd be like, great, we're fine, you know, moving forward. But with all the unknowns on the federal level reimbursement, obviously gives us a pause. And we've had those discussions as well. And that's where the fact that we move forward with this, we have the ability to pull the plug on this up through probably February of 26. And to be honest with you, you can scale back at any time, even after that, but it'll give us an idea of what's happening on a federal level. I'll tell you, the whole reason why we have 31 million is Janelle and her staff, because we are reimbursed based upon the quality of service over there. And being a 5-star facility, that's why we have received $31 million. And our thought process is as we renovate the east wing or the east building, I think that it will, assuming nothing changes on the federal level, we're going to generate even more, because you are going to be competing lockstep with the private sector. You have the care, obviously the level of care is going to be maintained. Now the level of quality of the actual facility is going to match that. And so I think that you're going to have more people coming in, and you are going to actually increase what's coming in for the reserves. So like I said, we are very much in tune with the federal funding issue, and we will continue that. And I will tell you the one thing, and nobody's more in tune with that than Janelle. And what we're doing with this construction project, if the board does approve it, is that Janelle will have the final say of okay, I'm comfortable moving forward with that phase or this phase. So it's a big construction project, but it's probably 30 different pieces. So Janelle can say enough, I'm not comfortable where the money's heading. But even after this, we're gonna have about 17, 18 million in reserves. And that number, just so you know, was back in November of 30. It takes a while to work through reimbursement. So we expect that number to actually be higher in reality right now than the 31 million.
It was back in November of.
November of 24. So
I'm going to say a few things and I'll open up for questions. Vice Chair Garcia and myself met with Janelle and staff on this, and we talked about it. It didn't really have to come to this committee for approval, but I thought it was really important, especially when it goes to finance, that, the support starts right here. My big question was, okay, with reserves are are there for an emergency, you need roughly 25 to 50% of your operating budget should be in reserves. They have, I don't know what, I can't remember, 75% or something really, really high. So using this money out of reserves, they're still gonna have that 25 to 50% in their reserves. So, and then the last thing I wanted to say, with the current architects and builders working on the other parts of the building right now, those organizations specialize in this type of facilities, especially when it comes to dealing with IDPH. So we got the perfect people in place, we got the money. It's a perfect opportunity to go forward with this. So, Member Dussart.
Thank you, Chair. So I want to just understand, refresh me. So the renovation that's been done and is wrapping up was $31 million-ish. And this new east building renovation will be $17 million. So that's an additional. Is the 31 million already paid for? I know we paid for it out of ARPA funds and such. Is it totally paid for?
No, it's not. We're still, that project is still going on, and that's the benefit of what we're doing is we have learned, you've got a building over 100 years old.
Right.
And we are learning things about that building. We're like, huh, we got like holes in walls that we're learning a lot.
I remember, yeah.
And the team knows that. And so we want to segue, this other project that we talked about with ARPA money will be done in mid-26. We're just going to go right into with no stop. And we have the people who know it, so in 26, all of the ARPA money will be spent, which meets the ARPA guidelines.
Right.
And then we'll roll right into the other one. We're gonna do some pre-work before that, starting in January, February. But we're still going on the other one.
So this east building was not originally in our plans to renovate. Is that true?
So what we were hoping that we wanted to do the entire building. But we knew we only had a finite amount of ARPA money. The original estimate for everything was well into the 40 millions. We were praying that maybe the bids would come in really low, but lo and behold, they didn't.
Yeah.
It was a tough environment for construction during COVID. But this was a priority that we're getting done. This was Janelle's priority. This was the committee's priority for what we've done. We always knew that we'd have this left. And we're like, well, we never thought we would have the money in reserves. And I will tell you, the reserves that Janelle and her team have generated over the last 4 or 5 years made this possible. And it's kind of one of those things like all the stars lined up, and now this is why we're in front.
And this east building is $17 million. And are you anticipating spending the whole, spending it all out of the reserves or? So money's not coming from anywhere else?
17 million, 100% funded out of the reserves. And there might be some CDBG funding, some things like that, little things that we'll mix in, but the vast majority is going to be out of reserves.
Okay, and one more question. You said something about, you said 16 million $891,000. And then later in your conversation, you said that we'll know what an exact price later.
Yeah.
So that's not the exact price?
That is an estimate right now. Our goal, the 75% architecture contract that you would approve in the next probably 2 weeks, 4 weeks, that we would enter that contract. They will do all of the hard estimating so that we will have it. Maybe it comes in a little bit less, 16.1, might come in $500,000 higher. We don't know until we go out and get quotes and bids and really go down and figure it out. And then that second piece of it in August, that is the exact number. The actual construction, that's a guaranteed maximum price. So you will know at that point. This first architectural contract will allow us to get there. We're pretty comfortable where our estimate is, and we're hoping it might come down from there. Who knows?
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay, staff, any other comments on this?
I gotta give, Nick's been overseeing this construction and, he was started when he was 12. It ages you, but he's been doing a great job. So thank you, Nick.
I second that.
So can I see a hands of consensus for support on this? Awesome. Thank you very much. So thank you very much. Thanks, Nick. Okay, and thank you, Janelle.
And we've been COVID-free for weeks.
Oh,
I want you.
On to our community service update with Mary Keating.
Good morning, just a couple of things. Those grant proposal notifications, they were all of the item 12s. Those are just the notifications that we're applying for those funds, so it's not, it's an internal county requirement that anytime we apply for funds, we have to notify the board that we're applying, so this is just the applications. So we'll see where that goes. Along that same line, I did mention this at, I think it was finance last week, about the, the termination of all the LIHEAP staff at Health and Human Services. The state did, there was a call last week and the state advised that they're working with different HHS staff and, kind of so far so good on LIHEAP funding continuing to funnel from the feds to the state and down to us. We've not heard anything about any movement on the senior programs that come through the ACL, the Administration for Community Living. It's where pretty much all of our federal senior programs come. That's out of HHS, which is having that staff reduction, but we haven't heard about any impact. As we look at discussions of, potential cuts to the Medicaid program, just a reminder that obviously, in addition to all the folks over at the care center who are on Medicaid, in any given month, we have about 2,000 seniors in our community care program. That's home-based services to help people age in place for as long as possible. All of those folks are required to be on Medicaid. And so there's, impacts to Medicaid could potentially be impacting those folks as well. And then finally, just a reminder, the Community Services Block Grant Advisory Committee is meeting at 11:30 today. So if you're available to stay, we'd appreciate your attendance. That's all I have.
Any questions for Mary Keating? Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mary. Maybe don't go too far, though.
Is this close enough?
Thank you. Okay, on to old business. Do any members have any old business right now? Okay, I'm gonna bring up the Northern Illinois Food Bank discussion. So, as you recall, we had Julie Yurko here a couple meetings ago to talk about what they've been doing with our ARPA funds and where we may be going here in the future. As we mentioned, that program ends, I believe, the end of June 30th. Yes. So, and we had a great discussion and we had consensus to continue that program. As you may recall, I mentioned we have around $1 million left for food. So Vice Chair Garcia and I met with the Chair Conroy. We met with senior staff and Julie Yurko after the meeting that we had here. And after much discussion, we felt like continuing the program through the end of our fiscal year. So instead of it ending June 30th, we're looking at it ending on November 30th. So we decided to earmark 500,000 of that million to continue through the end of the year. We were a little bit afraid of what's going on with the federal government. We wanted to make sure, maybe we hold back on half of that. Let's continue the program as is through the end of 2025. And as we start into budget negotiations, maybe we'll have a little more idea on where things are federally, and we can continue to use, we can add a line item like she did in 2025. We can have this discussion, but there's no doubt that the chair and everybody realizes the importance of food insecurity. We just thought this was the best move at this point to go $500,000 through the end of this fiscal year. So
Sorry.
yeah, please.
And that's in keeping with what we were normally doing anyways.
Right. So just any concerns or discussions, you'll see the current handout on the pantries that have been receiving food from our program. So if you have any questions on there, it's sort of an update. Lynn, I know you asked for some of that stuff. So if you have any questions, we all okay with that?
Yeah, just if you can just keep these updates coming,
Sure.
because I want to see, right, we're tracking, is it going much up,
Yes,
staying the same. So that's gonna be really important that we keep a real-time track of it.
very good, very good. I'll make sure I let
Thank you.
Northern Norfolk be aware of that.
Thank
Keep us informed, so. So I imagine we'll be bringing this to the county board, right? Okay, so thank you guys for your support on that. Do we have any new business? All right, seeing none, we'll adjourn without objection. Thank you so much, everybody.